Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Sweet Nothings podcast with Tony and Freddie. I'm Tony.
And I'm Freddie.
This is something new that we're trying out. A little work in progress, but as Freddie says, it's something that's only going to get better.
We'll keep upgrading equipment and figuring out things as we go along. And it's also free, so what are you going to say about that?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun, especially a little fun project for us to do. Hopefully we keep things exciting and fun for everyone else and keep listening.
Yeah, worst case scenario is just me and you hanging out telling stories, which is some of the best times I've had.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we do anyways. When everyone's hanging out and drinking. So the only thing is that now people have to listen to us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think the best way to go about this is to, I guess start off how we met. I moved into what we called the Bunts house, Bunts mansion, what have you. And I moved in with a buddy of ours. The paintings on the walls, and red walls on two sides, black and white stripes on the others. The landlord had to hate us.
You're the first person I know that rented a house or rented an apartment and then painted it. Took the best things about not owning a place is you just don't care about it that much. You were like, I care a lot about this right now. Well, so much so I'm gonna get some blue tape. You're a young 20-something and you're like, take me to the blue tape aisle.
Right. I would like to take all the credit for that. As shitty and or good as it was, I have to admit that it was actually my ex that I was living at the time. Wasn't really me. I'm actually a really shitty painter. So if you're ever looking to have someone to come help out and paint your house, don't even invite me. And that's because it's being like, I'm a dick, I don't want to do it. I would really fuck it up and you'd be mad at me for it.
Yeah, I own a house now, and it's not nearly as fun as when you could just rent a place. Like when you rent, like our place in Lakewood, like it had like this crazy tile, nothing really matched. It was just kind of slumlordy, but you could just blame it on the slumlord.
Right.
Now people are like, what's with this wallpaper? And then you got to explain to them that this is your house and your choice. And you're like,
yeah. And even like when things are shitty, like, the paints or the windows, and you're like, they know you're renting, so it's not your fault.
I miss that so much now. When you're like, what are we going to do this weekend? Probably fix some stuff that broke last weekend. But the first time I met you, we moved into that house pretty quick. And then I went to Cleveland State. I came back from the RTA or whatever. I walked in and you weren't there in the morning. And then all of a sudden there's this little dirty dude playing on his phone. And I was like, what's going on? I live above you. And you're like, all right, good. And then we became friends after that.
Yeah,
you had that crazy phone that went.
Oh, is it the Sidekick?
Yeah, it flipped around.
Oh, yeah, the Sidekick LX. Yeah, man. I think that was like the cool phone to have at the time.
Yeah.
There's even like secret buttons you can hit at the same time, and you can get like games and shit like that. Like a shitty like Atari style like ski game.
I just like that it announced every time you opened it.
Yeah.
It made, not only did it make noise mechanically, but it also made the.
Yeah, every time you open it and every time you close it. And it was like a cool thing, like to use like one thumb to open it and to close it, and that told people like this dude's a badass.
It sent a message.
Yeah.
The first time I met you, I was like, I'm not gonna mess with
this
Tony.
Dude's serious, man. He's got that Sidekick. He's using one thumb to open and close the screen.
That dude means business.
That was serious biz, man. I do want to mention about Shirtless Blake.
Yeah, that's
Shirtless
the dude.
Blake was my roommate at the time. His name was.
He came in about 7 months into my tenure at the Bunts house.
You're right. Okay, let me go back a little bit. So, as I had mentioned earlier, I had moved into this house with a girlfriend at the time. And, oh man, this was early 20s, so this had to be at least 10 years ago, roughly?
It's about 8 years ago, because we've lived in Elyria in the house 7 years.
Oh, man. Okay.
7.5 years. So this fall, it'll be 8.
Yeah, so I know it was a long time ago. I knew it was definitely early 20s. So I was living with the girl at the time, and then you guys moved in, And we had small fun stuff. Like you introduced me to Hat Game, which we can get to here soon. Hat Game. And then as chain of events happens, me and the girl split. She moved out. Then I had my buddy Blake move in. Which over time, Freddie, you nicknamed him
Shirtless Blake. That dude was just always shirtless.
Right.
Like a grizzly bear in December, he was shirtless.
Always shirtless. Didn't matter if it was hot or cold.
Yeah.
Always.
I was also hoping that he would start calling me Shirtful Freddie.
Shirtful Freddie.
Yeah. He's like, did he ever ask you, like, why is Freddie always wearing a shirt?
It has a nice ring to it. It's also kind of like, it's like thankful Freddie. Like, you're a really nice guy, but it's just shirtful Freddie.
That dude's just full of shirts.
He's just always got a shirt
on. He's always
on.
got it on.
Yeah. I always see Freddie with a shirt on.
He takes prison showers. He's just down there with his boxer shorts and his shirt in the shower.
Yeah.
That's Shirtful Freddie.
You're the guy that goes swimming with your shirt on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely that guy.
You got that nickname for a reason, Shirtful Freddie.
Yeah. That's not as crazy as Shirtless Blake. That dude, like, he just came home in a work shirt and it was off before he got through the door, and then didn't put it on until he went to work again.
Yeah, I think that's the best part of him loving to be at home. That just never had to wear a shirt. It was just always like cargo shorts, and that was that. Yeah, I don't even think the kid would wear socks. Should have called him Sockless Blake.
Damn, Sockless Blake.
Maybe you fucked up.
Yeah,
shirtless instead of sockless.
I think he just had like a peak amount of material he had on him at all times. That's a lot of material in some cargo shorts. So he's like, I'm not going to carry around a shirt and socks too. Right. These cargo shorts are enough for me.
Right. I mean, I remember him. He used to complain a bunch about being hot all the time.
That dude ran hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always sweaty.
Yeah.
And like, it was weird because he'd be like lounging on the he'd be lounging on the couch just shirtless in August, and we're like, dude, you're just sweating into that couch. Yeah. That's a little gross.
Oh, yeah. Especially, like, I think we had those leather couches temporarily.
Yeah.
And he would
just
peel off. Yeah.
It's almost like you should have been like, Blake, just lean forward. I'm going to put this shirt right behind you. It's not going to be on you. I'm just going to put it right behind you.
Right. Just to keep the stickiness off of you. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of times. That was a great summer. It was probably, like, one of my favorite summers, like, growing up. We had another buddy that was in there that basically lived at our house, and that whole summer was basically just buying 30 packs of PBR like every day. Yeah, it was just all day drink day.
And my life was crazy at the time. I was going to school and I was working full time because I didn't go to school until later on in life, and my girlfriend had like a full career, like a responsible career, and that was the only bit of responsibility in that whole house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that whole big, huge house on Bunts.
Right, because I'm pretty sure that at some point that summer, neither one of us, like Blake or I, had a job. Like, we just ended up using money we had saved up, and we were just buying beer and just having a summer of fun.
Well, you guys, I don't think you guys ever had gas. Like, you had your gas shut off, I think, for a little while.
Oh, I'm sure it was probably on and off. But at that time, we were like, I don't know, 22.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking summertime. We don't need it.
Or barely in wintertime, and you're like, just huddle up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we made sure more during the wintertime. But summertime, we're like, we don't need gas.
Yeah.
Like, we barely even cooked as is. I mean, we pretty much, the microwave was our main source. Or we used to always buy pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza was a huge thing.
Well, that was the problem. One of the greatest things I've ever seen was the trash you guys finally took out to the tree lawn, which was a sea of pizza boxes and 30 packs. And like when Tony says that he bought a 30 pack every day, he did, and also the pizza came with it a couple hours later. Right. And this tree lawn, I drove past it last week when I came over this way. I drove past. I was like, it's not a tree lawn. It's not a big tree lawn to begin with. Like, for as big as the yard is, you think the tree lawn would be bigger. Yeah. But you guys just filled the whole tree lawn with just beer boxes and pizza boxes.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, my girlfriend and I came home, and like the wind picked up, and it was just white trash tumbleweeds all down Bunts as these 30 packs were just like tumbling down the street. I think we crunched them up and tried to make them so that they wouldn't move.
Oh man,
but like,
so nice of you guys.
If I was thinking at the time I would have taken a picture of it because it was really the funniest. I'm talking like it was 4 feet high, 5 feet deep,
Like we could
and
build
then
a
10 feet
clubhouse.
wide. Yeah, you could definitely build a clubhouse.
Yeah, I even remember the
I
creepy...
think there were so many boxes there that the following week I bought beer, and the cases that held those beer were recycled boxes of yours.
Do you remember the creepy guy that lived next door?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that there was probably times that those trash tumbleweeds are flopping through down the street, and he would always come over and like...
You just pat him down.
Oh yeah, he would make sure there's something steady. And I'm not even sure what the golden rule was as far as recycling boxes at the time, because that was pretty much my first like actual house that I had to like take out the trash as opposed to just throwing it into a dumpster like regular apartment buildings. So I mean, I don't know if we're supposed to crush them up, put them like in the can.
I don't know.
I mean,
at the time, they didn't have like a recycling can and a regular can.
Oh, yeah.
I think like they had like we had blue bags for recycling and then trash cans for trash. But I also saw the progression of it because it started in your kitchen. It started in your kitchen, just stacks of boxes, and then it bled into the hallway. And we'd go in the side door, I'd be like, "That's a lot of pizza, good for you, Tony."
Oh yeah.
And then I'd be like, "That's a lot of beer. Tony's having more fun than we are."
Right.
And then it just bled out until like you guys couldn't take it anymore, and then you took it all out in one day.
Oh yeah.
And it was like a day's work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that was like, and we were like, basically we would just build the boxes all the way up to the ceiling. And thought it was hilarious to see how many boxes that we can get stacked up that high. And then eventually like, okay, this is kind of gross.
Yeah.
Let's at least make the place look a little respectable. If we're having company over or whatever the case may be. So we're like, oh shit, we have to hurry up and scrounge around and clean up the house. And then we'd hurry up and throw those boxes out, which didn't make it any better because I guess like, I don't know, what's better showing up at someone's house that they have floor to ceiling stack of boxes, or they're just trashed all over the tree lawn?
Well, the trash was gone pretty quickly, but I mean, like nobody went. First of all, you didn't have anybody go into that house that did not expect to see that. Like everybody going in there was like, "So take me to your box collection."
Yeah.
Like I know you got one. It's not like you invited Mormons in and wanted to chew the fat about whatever their religion was. It was just other dirty people that would bring other boxes to add to your collection.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. They knew it was just two dudes just living together amongst their own box filth.
It was also funny for me because I live with my girlfriend above you. You were with your girlfriend below us, and like you were tame. Like we'd still party and stuff like that, but it was kind of more like a weekend thing.
Right.
And then as soon as you guys broke up, and shirtless Blake moved in, it was game over for Tony.
Dude.
You were just like unrestricted.
All hell broke loose.
Yeah, I saw them take the governor off of you, and you were just like, I'm doing this. This is my life.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect when you have two early 20-year-olds that are living in a city where there's a bar at every street corner?
Yeah.
And we have full access to fucking everything.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, what else? What should we do today? I don't have to work. Do you? No, I don't have to work. I mean, I guess we can get some beer and figure out from there. And then that would be it. And then we're like, that was so much fun yesterday. Let's do it again today.
Yeah.
And that just became a whole fucking summer.
Yeah.
So and anybody that was showing up, they were already invited into that. So they already knew what they're getting into before they even showed up.
We very rarely planned on like hanging out. Me and you hanging out, it was just like, oh, you're drinking beer? Oh, I have a few beers too. Let's drink these beers together. Which is, it's like, it's not like I was texting you like, oh, you want to hang out tomorrow?
Right.
No, it was just like, no. I was like, I feel like drinking now, and I know Tony is because it's a day.
Always down. Yeah. We had nothing else to do. Our days basically consisted of waking up, eating leftover pizza from the night before, then drinking more beer, and then we would play video games all day, or we invite people over and start playing drinking games.
Yeah. You would just like play video games until it was socially acceptable to drink in public.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you would drink in public.
We're like, well, it's 4 or 5 o'clock. I guess now we can go out and join the daytimers. And by that time,
the daytimers, civilians.
Yeah. You know, those are the people that get up, or maybe they get done working a third shift.
Yeah.
You know, and they show up at 7, 8 in the morning. They drink till 5 or 6. You know, by the time we're catching them mid shift drinking, and then the next crowd's rolling in once again to like 7 or 8.
Yeah, that I just knew like Tony's always down, and that was most of the times when we had like our most fun. Well, like we spent St. Patty's Day sitting in a stairwell drinking.
Oh yeah. That's
like,
right.
We're just gonna sit in the stairwell and kill these beers, and we did what we're doing now, just told stories and goofed off.
Yeah, because I remember I got
played
up.
hat game.
Yeah. I don't know if we started St. Patty's Day or if it was before that. But I know that I got up really early, started drinking really early all day, and I was like super fucked up by like, I don't know, 4 o'clock or something.
Yeah, and then you went down for the count.
Yeah, and I was planning on taking like an hour
Came
nap.
up hard.
Yeah, and then I slept for a couple hours, and by that time everyone's already like wasted and went home to sleep for the day, or the night I should say. And you know, luckily you're like, yeah, dude, I'm down to drink some beers.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, let's meet in the stairwell.
Yeah.
And then that's where we started.
Yeah. And we'd go up to the attic, but for the most part, it was the stairwell. It was a good St. Patty's Day, if you ask me.
Yeah. Now, I'm trying to remember. I feel like I thought we went out.
You said that. Yeah, you said that before, but I think you're mistaken another time. That was because Amanda, I bought us 12 beers or something like that, and then Amanda came home from work. I came home from school, had 12 beers, and I was like, got 12 beers with nobody to drink them with.
Yeah.
And then luckily you woke up, and I think you did text me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just hanging out here drinking beer. So we drank 12 beers and whatever.
I think we had whiskey.
Whiskey,
Jameson, one of us did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had whiskey that was left over from one of our parties that Tony made his signature shot, which was cheap whiskey followed by a meatball chaser.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we drank the rest of that.
Yeah, that's right. Take a shot of shitty whiskey, chase it down with a meatball. Yeah, that's great. I forgot all about those.
The Bunts house really was a good time.
It was.
And it might have been the peak of my responsibility and having a good time. You know? Because I've had times when I'm either having a great time or I'm really responsible. That was a good mix of both.
That's good. Yeah, I mean...
not for you. You didn't even have a license then.
Oh, yeah, they got suspended, I think.
You didn't have a license. You didn't drive. You had your work buddies pick you up.
Yeah.
You had a good life.
Well, Blake drove.
Yeah, Blake drove.
Yeah, so that was good. And our other buddy that basically lived at our house, he was there every day, Steve Dave. Same thing. Yeah, those two were always the one driving. Yeah. And I got shit for it all the time.
You did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they would give me shit all the time because they'd be like, let's go do this. And then basically Not It was a huge thing in our house. It was huge.
Rightfully so.
It was, Not It to go and to drive up to get beer. Not It for driving to go do here. Not It for doing this first. Whatever it was, Not It was always a thing.
Uh-huh.
Something happened, it's basically like, not it. Last person would be like, fuck! So, between those two, they'd be like, all right, let's go to this place and get food. All right, Not It for driving. And then the other dude in studio would be like, Not It. God damn it. Fuck you, Tony.
Bitch.
Yeah. Fine. Fucking drive. Get your goddamn license back. I was living the life.
But I didn't know that. I was like, this dude, somebody picks him up and takes him to work.
No, I was riding my bike back and forth or skating to work at the time. Because I was working at Mark's.
Oh, no. Before that, you were working landscaping. And there was somebody around here that would pick you up and drop you off.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot I was doing that first.
Last because then you did work at Mark's. I remember that.
Yeah, I did that for a little bit, too.
Yeah. But at first, you were like, I got somebody picking me up, dropping me off.
Yeah.
And besides that, my life is just doing whatever I want.
Right.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. That was fun, man.
That's pretty sweet. At the Bunts house, we also had games that we made up. Mm-hmm. The hat game was the most important one.
That's right. Yeah. How did that come to be?
My buddy had this hat rack that he didn't move or he left behind, and it was just a big hat rack. I think he made it in shop class.
Okay.
And I had a hat, and I'm a child. I just started throwing it on there,
Right.
and then we made points and like slowly made rules.
Well, yeah, we basically turned it into
was
being
like-
with baseball rules.
Yeah, we used baseball rules.
Yeah. Because,
yeah.
like, I remember just coming upstairs and being like, hey,
We'll play
yeah,
some
we're just
Hat
having
Game.
a beer or whatever, and then you're like, dude, check out Hat Game.
Yeah,
And then I was
it got
like,
extreme.
yeah. And I'd be like, all right, cool, let me try this. And then, at first it's like, oh, this is tough. And then once you kind of get the hang of it, because we were just using like a regular like baseball hat. Remember,
No,
like
we
a
were
truck
using
hat?
like an army hat, like
Oh,
a Castro hat that
okay.
I bought at Savers at thrift store.
Right.
And that was the like I quit wearing it for a while because that was a Hat Game hat, and like it got like trick shots. It turned into like a game of pig. Like you'd be on the balcony and throw it through the door.
That's
in,
right, yeah.
Or bounce it off stuff, or bounce it off a ceiling fan, and then onto the hat rack. It was a big deal.
Yeah, and I remember too with like even when we finally got Blake involved too, and then
Yeah.
he'd be like, "You guys fucking suck at this game" when we'd be going first, and then of course as soon as he started throwing it, he'd suck, and we're like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah.
He's talking shit back, and then it started getting really competitive. Well, more on Blake. He was
Yeah.
a competitive dude. You and I were still having fun with this.
Because like most of the time we would start talking about the rules and paying attention to the score, and then it's just grab ass after that.
Right.
It's just us screwing around and throwing a hat and drinking. But it got very aggressive.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
He did not want to lose at hacking.
No, he doesn't ever want to lose at anything.
I did not care to win or lose, really.
Yeah. Well, see, when you and I were playing, it just didn't really care. When Blake was playing, then I was starting to get a little competitive, just
Yeah.
because by nature, with us already living together and doing
Yeah.
shit like that, then that was already a thing that we're like, fuck you. I wanna
We
beat
also
you.
did a lot of skateboarding. That you just reminded me. We did a lot of skateboarding in the driveway.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like way too old to be skateboarding, and no, we weren't too old to be
No,
skateboarding.
I mean, I don't think there's
But
really an age limit for
there
you to
was-
do skateboarding.
in that whole house, my girlfriend was the only one that had health insurance. Like if we would have just
Yeah.
broke an ankle, broke a finger falling down.
We basically would have
We
been
were
like
really-
yelling from the driveway for her to come outside.
Yeah,
Like, drive me to the hospital.
yeah,
I hurt myself.
yeah. And then you just hear Blake from inside. Not it.
Yeah, not if you're driving to the hospital. Yeah, yeah, that would definitely be him for sure. Yeah, Hat Game was a lot of fun, and I know that we've tried bringing other people into the game, and I don't know if it caught on as well with them, but I know that was a regular thing for
It
us.
was. You know what killed Hat Game was when we moved. I played Hat Game all the time, even when we moved, and then we got dogs, and every time I missed, the dog would pick up the
Oh, so
hat
it's
and go
chasing the
running
hat.
around. That's no fun.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, and it sucks too, like, when you're like, man, this was so much fun when I had friends playing with me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's cool if you're, like, bored for a quick few minutes or whatever,
Sure.
and then you're like, it's just not the same.
Well, now I play that game once every day, and that's just when I come home, I take my hat off, and I throw it from the dining room, and it, 50-50.
Right. If you
50-50
make it, fuck yeah. If you miss it, oh, well, I'll just pick it up. in the
Oh,
morning,
if I
I'll do
make it,
tomorrow.
it's a big production.
Oh, yeah?
Did you see that? Did you fucking see that? Did you see what I just did? You know?
That's awesome.
Nobody cares.
And now you're also really good, I know, at creating games. I mean, this was kind of, yours. You mentioned something about shoe flip game? Is that what you call
shoe
it?
flip is...
Okay, tell me more
Yeah.
about shoe flip.
Shoe flip is just because I never tie my laces in my shoes. I just don't like to.
Okay.
And I just kick the shoe off of my foot, and it has to do one rotation and land back on my foot.
Okay, so you kind
a
of
s-
have, like...
It's not like a team game.
No.
I can't necessarily play you, but
well, we could be playing against each other to see who's the first one to get it on.
Yeah.
So essentially, basically what you're saying is that, like, you kick off the bottom half of your shoe, so you're just kind of holding with the top of your foot?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you just kind of flip it up, and then
Yep.
when you flip it, you try to slip your foot back
Yeah.
in. Okay. That sounds like a lot of fun. I
It's-
mean, I could totally see us, like, replacing Hat Game with that.
I've
and
lost
doing
days of my life to this game. There's it doesn't take long for me to come up with a silly game, just because I naturally just have to play or do something, you know.
Now,
So-
do you ever do shoe flip, like, in places you shouldn't be, like at weddings or work or...
Well, Not like weddings, but definitely. I remember one time I was playing shoe flip pretty aggressively while Amanda was buying a new car or a new car to her, you know, and she's going through like the paperwork process, and I'm just outside just flipping my shoe like in front of like the big showroom with all the windows, and I'm just like out there in my own world flipping my shoe and like look over and like her dad and mom are in there and they're just like, oh god,
oh no,
what is wrong with
so
this
embarrassing
dude? Yeah.
Now the other people that are around, they know that like you were with her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Oh,
it's
of course.
like, hey, so
Yeah.
he's out there doing that. She's
Yeah.
just going, yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah,
Friday.
I always grab somebody as I barrel down to embarrassing town.
Right.
Somebody's coming down with me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a funny game, and like some of the biggest haters of shoe flip have also gotten like obsessed with it too.
Okay.
So they're like, "What are you doing?" And then they're like, "Oh, I gotta try once.
Right.
I gotta try 1,000 times. Shoe flip is harder than it looks."
Right. Now, it's a game where it's not accurate, so it's always just kind of just
What it is you just flip your shoe, and then if people didn't give up on watching you flip your shoe, you make a big production out of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then you just talk some shit afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at your anti-acrobatic broke ass shoe.
Right.
That's what I would say to them.
Now, this is something you could probably use too in like maybe like a job interview. You know, they're like,
Got to update my resume.
right? You know, they're like, oh, what's the best thing about yourself, or what's something that's really good about you? And you'd be like, oh, check this out. I could do a shoe flip, and then you just kind of turn and then like start doing it from.
If somebody did that and made it,
First try?
yeah.
Dude, if I was the interviewer and my interviewee was like, yo, check out shoe flip, and they got in the first try, I'm like, that's pretty badass. You're hired.
You're hired.
Yeah. Automatically.
That's shoe flip is hard. Oh, you met my brother just recently.
Right.
This asshole.
Tell me.
I got pretty good at shoe flip. It took a while, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, that's a lie. At this point, I'm making this up.
And now, when did you think of this game? How long have you been doing it for?
I know how long because I bought these shoes.
Okay.
I bought these Adidas Booznits Pro.
All right.
They're skateboarding shoes, and they look like old school soccer shoes. And those are the shoes, because the tongue's so big on them, those are the shoes that are like, I could flip this shoe. Mm-hmm. Since then, I've used all sorts of shoes, but those were the originals.
The OG.
And,
okay.
and I'm doing it, and my little brother's like, I can't get it to land on my foot. And he's like, let me try it. And he flips it. He's a natural. One time, right on his foot.
First try. Whoa.
I was furious.
Yeah, dude. I would have been red in the face.
I was furious. And then I decided I'll come up with a new game. I'll try gloves. Do a little glove flip.
Glove flip?
I gotta do something.
Right.
I was showed up.
Man, if that was me, dude, I would have I don't know, I would have punched him in the balls. I would have took the shoe off his foot that he caught it with and hit him in the
it
balls
made me
with
mad. Like, not
Yeah.
even second try. If he did a second try, I'd be like, whoa, look at you. You're a natural.
that. Right.
But first try. And then it made it so everybody else that saw me playing this shoe flip game,
Were you at like a family event?
it made me look foolish.
Oh.
Yeah, it was probably at my mom's house.
Oh,
doing something.
man.
It really made me look foolish.
So they're like, Zeke's going to be the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got shoe flip on first try.
Yeah.
He's going to be the doctor in
Yeah.
the family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Not Freddy.
Yeah.
But I'm always making up games like whatever I can. I think like growing up in my house, I was the oldest. You were the oldest too, weren't you?
Yeah.
And it was like entertaining my siblings around me, and then it quickly became just me entertaining myself.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda bought me a dartboard when we lived in Bunts, and I like lost a couple days of my life because I was like, darts is my thing now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be a dart pro. It was over so fast. Like,
Right.
I had like 3 days of like all I ever want to do is throw darts.
I can't believe it's taking me this long to figure this
Yeah,
out.
I'm calling off work.
I'm going pro.
I'm going pro. At the time, I didn't even know if there were pro darts. Had to do some research.
Right.
Found out maybe I should have better goals.
Yeah, because these people seem to be way better than me.
Yeah.
They're hitting the bullseye on the first try. It's taking me at least 10.
They don't know about these trick shots, though.
Yeah. What do those guys know about shoe flip anyways?
Yeah, that wall was destroyed behind it. There was a lot of trick shots going on.
Oh, man. Speaking of games, back there at that Bunts house, we used to... I mean, we didn't give a shit. I mean, obviously it was a rental. We were like 22, but we would just use the table in the dining room to play beer pong with.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, and at that time we were still just putting the beer in the cups.
Yeah.
So beer got on the floor, whatever.
Yeah.
Where's a towel? Dry it up. But then I remember it getting to points where we would throw beer pong, like trying to do trick shots, like off of like the drop parts of the doorways and shit like that, and off ceiling fans and stuff. And then it got to a point. Oh man, I can only imagine how much stuff you had to fix in that house. But it got to a point where we started throwing shit into the ceiling fan, and that became a game.
Yep.
Like it started off like with just small things, like beer pong balls. And then we progressed into other things. Like there was like a whole stack of like CD jewel cases, and we're just like, I remember standing there and because they're in a stack and just whipping them one after another, and then it eventually got way out of control where Blake was throwing fucking phone books into it, and like there was like a sewing kit that I don't know where it came from that was fucking blowing up into there, and like chessboards. You know, I was like, this is ridiculous. And then that ceiling fan was like
A wobble.
you
Yeah.
never wanted to turn it on. Like, do not turn that on because if it's on, it's gonna fall on someone's head and cut their head off.
The you really did live like your parents could come home at any minute. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You're like,
yeah.
I'm jumping on my bed like a little kid all the time.
Yeah.
And
if they were to walk in the door, it'd be so busted.
And like me living above you, I'm like, what is he doing now?
Oh yeah.
It's insanity.
There was always something, always going on. I remember like when like my mom was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the neighborhood. I'm gonna stop by and drop off this food, or I'm gonna come check out your place. I haven't gone by there yet." Oh man, me and Blake would get our cleaning shoes on, man, and like we'd spend the next like half hour just cleaning the fuck out of everything, just like pouring sweat. I mean, it would look good, but then we just after that, then we start building up the pizza boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
After she left, we'd start all
so
over
it only
again.
got cleaned when mom was coming around.
Yeah.
That's funny. My mom is always smart enough to be like, I'm not going near your den of sin. I don't know what you're doing in there.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the difference.
Yeah. See, I mean, I've always been such a mama's boy. So, like, she's like, okay, this is my baby boy. And go see what he's doing, making sure he's doing himself
Making sure
right.
he's not throwing CD jewel cases into a moving ceiling fan.
Yeah. I mean, she was showing up just to make sure, like, that I wasn't drinking beer every day and eating pizza for 3 times a day every day, because that was my life. I was just, that was our summer, and so when she showed up, I had to pretend, like all the groceries that we bought but haven't eaten yet. I'd be like, yeah, we just went grocery shopping like a week ago, guess we're gonna have to go back this weekend, and then she leaves and then we order pizza, Yeah.
I never had that problem, but we were way more laid back. We weren't partying like you.
Right. Well, I mean, like you said, like when I was first living there, when I was with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah, you were way more quiet back then.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really allowed to, when I was gonna go out and do things.
Had
I would.
a problem with you trashing the place.
Yeah.
Like a rock
things
star.
are different when you live with a lady. You can't be that way. You can't just like shit with the door open, and things like that.
Yeah.
Like telling your friends to come over and hey, check this out, and they're just walking into a giant cloud of fart.
Yeah.
So I had to be more tame. So and that was like that relationship went on for like a really long time. So basically, it was just like making sure, like once that ended, it's like being 21 all over again. It's like. Cool, me and my best friend had this entire place to ourselves. We could do whatever the fuck we want. Yeah. No mom and
just
dad
chaos.
to tell us what to do. Yeah. That was like the first time that we were able to do that because I don't know if he had lived on his own previous to that. I think he had. Because I think he actually, when I was living in Leary, he had lived with me too a little while. So this was actually like part 2. Or part 3 of of us living together. The only difference is that, the girl is out of the equation.
Yeah.
So, because like she would yell at me if he was being too loud, like the TV was up too loud or we were playing video games.
It's crazy, like if you go unchecked like that, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
We just become animals.
Yeah.
We really
It's
do.
natural.
I don't know about that, but it's something. I'm guilty of it too. That's the way it goes. It's just like you're like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do exactly what I want when I want all the time.
Right.
Like in my head, I think there's something to it. You know, like the forced responsibility and not looking foolish. Right. I have somebody to let down now, and that's probably a good thing because, like that can go on forever.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not even sure how that all ended. It just, at some point, it did.
It throttled back.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point, I don't know, maybe we were both started dating someone, and the party was still going a little bit, because we're like, hey, come over and hang out with us. This is so much fun. Let's play beer pong in the living room, and, you know, let's do flip cup in the dining room.
Yeah.
Just get shit everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's not our house. You know, but I think as, like, dating started going on with the girls, you know, then we had to be like, okay, I guess I'm not allowed to do this all the time,
Right.
you know, and that's kind of probably where it stopped,
Yeah.
you know.
Now it's just a weekend warrior thing.
Yeah.
You said something though that caught my ear. You said we used to play beer pong with beer in the cup, and that's the only time I ever played it until New Year's. So like New Year's, Amanda and I go to a party, and we are New Year's Eve party, you know, and we're like going down in the basement, and these people are younger than us, and they don't have beer in their cups. Like we just automatically pour beer in the cups, you know.
Okay.
And they pour water in their cups.
Right, yeah.
And that way, because, you know, the ball falls on the ground, the ball's picking up dirt and stuff like that. We look like a bunch of rubes just, like, drinking dirty ball water.
Right. Oh, I know.
Is that the thing, like, everywhere now?
Well, yeah, that's a thing now. I mean, depending on what crowd you're playing with, they don't give a shit. But, like, that was a thing when someone's, like, when you're playing with new people and they're like, hey, all right, like, we're going to get some water. And I'd hand them, like, the 2 cups for the ball. And then they're like, oh, no, we're going to fill up all the cups. I'm like, why would you fill up all the cups?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, you just drink from your own beer. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but that takes away from the whole fun. Like, what about Death Cup?
Yeah.
I can't pull Death Cup on you. And for those of you that don't know what Death Cup is that when you get a ball in the cup, and when they pick up the cup, and if they're taking too long to drink it, your teammate can throw the ball into the cup, and if they make it in there, that team automatically loses and has to drink all remaining beer.
It's an aggressive move.
Yeah, yeah.
Or there's also, like, if you don't fill yours up enough and they hit, like, a back row one.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, you get caught, you know, and it slides off the table, then, you know, you lose.
Right, exactly.
That doesn't happen if you fill it full of water.
Right, exactly. And that's part of the fun.
Also, you don't spread herpes.
That's
true. There are some positives.
That is true. You're not spreading herpes.
But
sharing is caring, am I right?
But I mean, like, we really look like a bunch of boneheads when we just pouring beer in there. And I was like, when did all this change? I didn't get the newsletter.
Yeah, I know. It was foreign to me too at first, and then you start going to other people's parties and they're just playing like that. So then you're just like, oh, okay.
I guess it makes sense too, because like you can use the same cups on both sides for like the whole night.
Yeah, it doesn't
you don't have
matter.
to keep getting new germless cups out.
And it makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
But, you know, when you're playing with dirty balls, you know, that you're only rinsing off inside the water cup and praying for the best.
That's true.
That's only helping your immune system, really.
That's true.
I mean, so who's really in the wrong?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Those kids that are playing with water cups,
you know what I
those
did?
kids are getting sick all the time.
Tony, when we play flip cup, I take the water that you use to clean the ball off and just drink it in front of everybody else. Then I slap my chest a few times.
Right.
Say, who's better than me?
That's right.
I yell, who's better
Try
than me?
to get someone else to do
into
the
air. After all that beer, I need a little water.
Right.
There's 3 pubes and some dust in here.
Something to wash down all this beer from all this winning.
From all, I was terrible at flip cup, or terrible at beer pong. I like flip cup; is more fun.
Yeah, it's really great when you have.
I think I just like the flip things.
Oh yeah, shoe flip,
flip cup.
Oh man,
I'm just a flipping dude.
I mean, I've seen you flip hats when we played hat game too.
Oh yeah.
Why do people call you Flippy Freddy?
Maybe they do.
Flipster Freddy.
I don't know. I like that almost as much as I like Shirtful Freddy.
Shirtful Freddy. That's such a good name.
That's hilarious. It's
Right.
just funny to think of somebody being like, why has your friend always got his shirt on?
Yeah. That's weird, dude. I can't believe you got a shirt on. It's like
All the
60
time.
degrees.
He just like wakes up every day and puts shirts on.
Shirts are for work.
What are you
Am
going to do
I
with
right?
all those shirts, dummy? Where you going with that shirt?
But you can't wear all those shirts. You know, it's funny too. Speaking of him, shirtless Blake. You know, when I was working at Mark's, and my shift was like 6 a.m. to like, I think I started part time, so I was only working from like 6 a.m. till like 11 a.m. And by the time I would get home, Blake would hear me like walking into the house, and he would literally be like stumbling out of the door, out of his bedroom, no shirt, just the cargo shorts, eyes are barely open, and you know, I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And be like, "Hey, what's going on?" By the time I got into my room to change out of my work clothes, he was already squatted in front of the TV playing Call of Duty. That was a huge thing.
He was gluing his back to that leather couch.
Yeah. Oh, we did have a video rocker that he'd have like right in front of the TV
right.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Amanda and I above you guys, we kept we called it Thunder Game because I didn't know what video game you were playing.
I forgot about you
I'm
telling me
never
about this.
really a big video game guy, and Amanda be like, "What are they playing down there?" And I'm like, "I think it's Thunder Game," because it just sounded like thunder. And then we made up this game scenario in which it's just, oh, here come the lightning. Oh no, it's raining again. It's a sunny day in Thundertown. And because that's what it sounded like up to us when you playing Call of Duty so loud.
Yeah. We used to play a shit ton of it. I mean, there was times that we would be fighting for like the first one to get into the seat. Yeah. I stay here first. I turn on the system. Like, I'm playing first. And usually we'd take turns like each match. Sometimes, you start playing a bunch and then you don't give the controller to the other person,
Yeah.
which sucked. So you just end up yelling at the other person, or you just fucking give up and just go do something else. But that's right. Do you remember you saying something about Thunder Game?
Yeah, like that's Thunder Game.
TV was probably always up pretty loud, wasn't it?
No, not always.
No.
I mean, it was a special occasion when it was, because then we'd be like, "That's Thunder Game. They're playing Thunder Game again."
Right.
I mean, a couple of times I asked you to turn it down. You were always cool.
Oh, yeah.
You knew, like, I could have been like, "Tony, just go to bed." You were like, "You're probably right. I did something wrong."
Yeah. Sorry,
Like,
Dad.
we're down here living like cave people.
Yeah.
I probably did something wrong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we were out of control. We probably should have had a parent there. Or like a guardian or something.
Yeah.
Someone to tell us to eat our vegetables, or like don't drink so much.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can get alcohol
Let's just
poisoning.
take one day off. Just
Yeah.
one day off.
You guys should give your livers a break. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. Our livers are made
There
of
were
steel.
so many times like you would just go to bed when we were waking up. Like, Amanda has a half-hour drive, and then she has to be at work early anyway, so she'd leave at like 6, and you guys, it just got quiet at like 5:30, and then like I would wake you up and you'd be drunk. I'm like, dude, it's 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting my day.
Yeah.
I'm ending my day.
I was at the bed like 10
I'm
minutes. Like, oh.
I'm ending my day the best way possible. All right, Tony. I'll see you later.
Yeah. But even then, I mean, like, I've never been able to, like, sleep a lot. So, like, I would
Yeah.
still be up by, like, 10
Oh, yeah.
or 11. But Blake, you'd sleep all day.
Yeah, that dude could sleep all day.
Yeah. That was something he was always good at.
You gotta
sleeping.
have him on we gotta have him on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll have to invite him in and have him talk about other stories that we're not remembering.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's got stuff locked up in there. Or just like this is when one of us are going to talk about something and it's going to trigger into his brain. And then he's going to be like, oh, fuck, do you remember this?
Yeah.
We'll have
He
to
would be real. Yeah, he'd
Yeah.
be funny because he'd have some stories.
I'll have to figure out what his work schedule is and see if he wants
Yeah.
to come on and hang out. That'd be a lot of fun to have him on.
Yeah,
Get more of these backstories. Do you remember Willis?
absolutely.
Okay. So most of you don't know, and some of you know very well. During this time, living at the Bunts house, Blake and I had a I don't know what you want to call it. I guess a little mascot buddy that we named Willis. And before this crazy summer that we've been getting into, Blake and I were both doing landscaping. So we were mowing lawns. So basically...
Was he working there too?
Yeah, we worked together.
No, oh, okay.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying, like, he might have been the one driving us back and forth. I don't remember what time that... Because he stopped working there before
when he first
I did.
started moving there, he worked at a tanning salon.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I'll be like, oh, that makes sense. Why he doesn't have a shirt on all the time. He works at a tanning salon.
Gotta keep his tan on.
Yeah. You look good, dude.
Right. But while we were out mowing lawns, we would always find, like, kids' toys and stuff. And instead of just, like, throwing them to, like, the porch or patio or some way out of the way, we would just take them. So eventually we started building a collection, and we found
You make it
this,
sound sad.
Well, like the Grinch?
A little bit, yeah.
Kind of the landscaping Grinch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I saw Willis. Nobody was looking for him. But other toys, I can imagine, they're like...
Right. Oh, yeah. No, well, to be fair, Willis was our creation. It was like we did weird science with Willis. Okay, so eventually we started noticing this pile of toys that we had in the truck. And we had this little black baby doll. And we had Barbies and stuff like that. I don't know why we had Barbies. It's just dumb. But we ripped the arms and the legs off of the Barbie doll, and we ripped the arms and the legs off of
Willis.
the black baby doll, and then we stuck the Barbie arms and legs inside of them, which looks like something fucking right out of Toy Story.
Yeah.
With
it looks like a demon.
Yeah,
demon
like
toy.
Sid, I think was like the neighbor kid. You know, it looked like one of those toys. So then we
Dude, you were Sid. Like you're just destruction for no reason. You're just an adult Sid
But
at
I'm
this
like-
time in your life. You're
Right.
throwing CDs up into a moving ceiling fan.
right.
And you're destroying like little kids' toys, making mutant toys.
Yeah.
You were Sid.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But it was like Sid with like a mix of like AWK. So it was like Party Sid.
Yeah.
You know?
Party Sid. Yeah.
Party Sid.
And you weren't like a malicious. You were
No.
just
This is just for fun.
yeah.
You know? So if you guys can imagine what this black baby doll with these Barbie arms and legs looks like, that's probably exactly how it looks like. However, we felt it wasn't enough. So we got a pen and started coloring in like
You
his
only
eyes.
got better all the time.
Yeah, like eyebrows.
Yeah.
You know.
Every time I see Willis, you have a little improvement.
Yeah, we colored in like his belly button. We drew a wiener on him. You know, colored in his little butt dimples. He had butt dimples. Gave him a little
who
mustache.
doesn't?
Yeah. Gave him a mustache and everything. So basically, now it gets down to looking kind of like Carlton from Fresh Prince, but with Barbie arms and legs. Which just looked terrifying and or hilarious depending on how you looked at it.
Well, that's because Willis spent a lot of time at the upstairs of Bunts' house.
Right.
And my girlfriend was not real keen on Willis. Willis maybe scared her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. I would take Willis and I would hide him underneath her pillow when she'd go to bed. And she'd like put her arm under her pillow. She'd find Willis. I hid Willis in the shower, like in the shower head. I did. There was a lot of pranks that involved Willis, and it's just because he was a little frightening.
Well, yeah.
He had a frightening appearance. So she was not a big fan of Willis for a while, and then she came around.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're one of those people that are scared of like freaky looking toys.
Yeah.
And you're being set up by your boyfriend or whoever.
Those are called normal people.
Yeah.
You should just say if you're people.
Right.
If
you're people, yeah, if one of your people, because I'm Party Sid. My people like to get drunk and take apart toys and put them back together with new parts.
Yeah.
So if one of your people are terrified of those, I mean, it only makes sense, you know, why is she being so freaked out?
That's
but
true.
You're right. She did finally come around to it and found the, what's like the lovable part of Willis.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
We did eventually down the line find this little necklace that had this little charm with the J on it.
I know where that came from. Our friend Sherry's mom, her name was Joyce, and she gave him that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that the thing with Willis...
He had a little vest. He had a little fur coat vest.
Oh, yeah, there was different little parts and stuff on it that everybody kept adding on. So once Joyce had put this necklace on there, again, this is a little necklace with a little J charm on there, we decided to name him Willis J. Willis. Kind of like, remember that actor Doug E. Doug?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like...
Cool Runnings.
Yeah, so we thought it'd be cool to name him Willis J. Willis. So... and then eventually Willis kind of became the party mascot.
Yep.
When we'd had parties, everyone wanted to hang on to him. And then eventually people started asking for Willis to spend the night.
Oh yeah, he would just be on a shelf in our place.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, "Hey, I gotta grab Willis because I got another friend that wants him." I'm like, "All right, come get him."
Yeah, because we always had him on the fireplace mantle.
Yeah.
So that's where Willis hung out and like overlooked the house. It's kind of like the elf on the shelf.
Yeah.
But it's like the Willis on the mantle.
Yeah, the Willis on the mantle.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we gotta get Mattel on the phone, Tony.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna sell this idea.
Right, the Willis on the mantle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, eventually people were like, "Hey, I'm going to Buffalo. Can I take Willis with me?" Sure.
Yeah.
He was like the travel gnome, and they would send me pictures or they posted up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Of
we had him in Boston.
Yeah, you guys took him to Boston. I think other friends took him to to Pittsburgh and like other places down to Columbus. I think we took him down to Columbus.
Yeah.
So we just took him everywhere. Now,
he was a staple of the 1575.
yeah, he really was. So now the thing is that it's all coming back to me, and I'm pretty sure I remember the exact moment and when we lost Willis forever. Now, I want to start off or go back full circle and talking about the creepy guy next door that would like fix up our pizza boxes. Now, I'm going to be dead honest here. I lived in that house for probably about 6 years. I think total amount of time of taking out the trash would probably be a year's worth because this guy would literally come over and take our trash out every single week.
Yeah.
So, and he would come over and just do stuff around the yard just on his own accord. Now, Blake, me, a bunch of other buddies went out drinking, of course, naturally. And we came back to the house and got into throwing shit into the ceiling fan. And I remembered that the side window in the dining room, the window was open. I do remember at some point one of my buddies being so drunk they're falling out of the chair and they grabbed the table, tipped the whole thing over. But at some point, somebody thought it'd be funny to throw Willis into the ceiling fan, and it hit just perfectly right that it shot out the window. And so, like,
did it break the screen and everything?
Well, no, the screen was open. Like, everything was just open. So Willis got shot out the side window in the dining room. And we're all, like, laughing, like, oh, fuck, Willis is out of the house. We're like, oh, we'll go back and get Willis later. Well, after more drinking, people leave, and we fall asleep. And it's not until, like, the next day that I'm, like, looking for Willis and trying to figure everything out. And then it finally hits me. I'm like, oh, shit, he got launched out of the fucking house last night. I go and I look around the driveway, can't find him anywhere. So I'm pretty sure that the fella next door found Willis and was probably disgusted by his
what is wrong with these
natural
animals?
handsomeness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably threw him in the trash and then took him out to the lawn. And that's the last moment I think I saw Willis.
You're a real gumshoe, Tony.
Yeah.
I guess that would make sense. But how do you know?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it is. I mean, I can only imagine if he was still with us. I mean,
we need to go there right now and be like, take me to your mantle. And we gotta make sure it's a Willis-less mantle.
Right, yeah. I would take him everywhere, too. Like, even on the 4th of July, like, I had him tucked in my shirt, like the front of my shirt with just his head hanging out of my collar. Kind of like those baby carriers that people have, like that's like the baby in the front. Yeah. That's kind of like what I had with Willis.
He was a definite mascot.
Yeah. We'd go to people's houses, we'd get sparklers, and since they're wire, we could wrap it around his little Barbie hands, and then we'd light the sparklers.
His little Barbie hands.
Yeah, I have pictures of Willis like standing there with,
That's
sparklers
hilarious.
lighting on fire. Yeah. So he was a big thing at the Bunts house.
He will be missed.
Yeah, and people would send me pictures too, like that they had in their phones like forever, and they'd be like,
Oh, I remember. I drew pictures of him and stuff like that and sent them to you.
yeah, that's right. I remember the Willis pictures, and so I'm like, what they would send them, they'd be like, he like in an airport. I'm like, oh shit, dude, you got Willis? And they're like, no, I forgot to send you this one when I was going to this town or whatever. I'm like, you bitch.
Yeah.
How dare you?
You
Willis has
tease
been
me.
missing for 2 years and you send me this garbage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad Willis. We'll have to, once people get keen to Willis and more stories come up, we'll have to post a picture up. So everyone can
yeah.
get
If anybody's listening that has a picture of Willis, how about you post it on our page?
Yeah, that would be great. And also, we'll post them too and get this started.
Yeah.
And then it would be maybe nice too if anybody's really good at Photoshop.
He was progressive. Everything's great.
Yeah.
He was progressive. He's multicultural.
Mm-hmm.
Handsome.
Right.
He was genderless.
He was. Oh, well, we did draw a dick on him, but it was a flat
that's
dick.
true.
So, I mean, we did what we could.
Yeah, he's fairly genderless.
Yeah.
He was Caitlyn genderless.
Good one. Yeah, I mean, anybody listening, we'll post some pictures up where people have pictures of Willis, send them in.
That'd be great.
Or when we post them up, if people have those Photoshop skills, put them someplace nice, like Hawaii.
Yeah, he deserves to be someplace nice.
someplace that we can remember, or just kind of hope that's where he is.
Yeah.
Maybe he did get thrown in the trash, and then he made his way to the dump. And, there's a trash dad taking his trash kid to the dump to find treasures. And
a trash dad.
And the trash kid finds Willis,
Yeah.
And then who knows where it goes from there. It gets lost like Toy Story and gets into some vehicle. It goes across the country and then onto a plane. Who knows?
I think he's in a better place.
Yeah, I think so, too. I hope that he's not in the bottom of a trash pile.
Right now he's probably like, I wonder if Dirty Tony's still living with piles of boxes.
He knows I am.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll make piles of boxes in the kitchen.
Or he's like, I wonder if Tony's got black arms right now.
Yeah. I surgically had my arms and legs removed for black arms and legs just so I can.
Yeah, you did this to me.
Yeah. So I just in memory of Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, just hopefully that he's not just like a hobo, like doing crack like under like a Doritos bag or something like that,
Oh, I can't imagine.
No.
Willis had standards.
Yeah. He was never into drugs.
I mean, he didn't have high standards because he just kept living with you.
Right. But it was a thing.
Somebody threw him up into the ceiling fan.
I know. My friends are savages,
That's ruthless,
dude.
yeah.
I know. It's pretty shitty, my friends.
Oh, my friends threw him off of our balcony all the time.
Throw what off the balcony?
Threw Willis off the balcony all the time.
See?
I remember we were like,
respect.
check this out, this is Willis. And they were like, what? And then, right off the balcony it goes.
Fuck. And then you had to run downstairs and grab him before I come upstairs and start waving my fingers around like an old man.
Pretty much.
Don't you dare throw my Willis.
I remember you were there for it. That was the day that Amanda decided, I like this dude. I like Willis.
Yeah.
He's not so bad.
He's a sweetheart. I mean, how could you not?
Yeah, so he hangs out waiting for me in the shower. That's a little weird, but besides that, I like this.
Yeah. I mean, at least he probably got some boob action, too, so you got to see, some boobs.
Yeah.
So if he is gone, at least he had that going for him, too.
That's true.
He didn't have a life where he didn't see any boobs.
No, he didn't. No. I wouldn't allow that.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that summer was that was great. I mean, and then I even think, I want to say the wintertime is also probably when we started slowing down. I know there was a night that me, Shirtless Blake, and another buddy went out drinking. And, I guess I should probably cut this not as a long story, but basically we went out, got super drunk, gets to the end of the night, closing time, and we lose our third friends, Shirtless and Blake and I. And we finally find him, and he's puking next to the car. right? And we're like, oh, jeez. But while we're on our way there, we see this, like, tiny little tree. Like, I'm talking, like, a Charlie Brown tree, you know? So we're like, oh, let's pull this tree out because we're fucking hammered. I'm like, yeah, this is a really good idea. It's 2:30 in the morning. It's
like, I'm the strongest man in the world.
Yeah, let's pull this tree out. So we both, like, grab onto this tree and then fucking, like, just pull with all of our might. And, like, I fall down, like, my keys fall off and shit, and grab my keys, put them on. And so we're like, we see our buddy, you know, peeking next to the car, and we're like, hey, he gets in there, and we, like, open up the car, and we're like, we got this tree for you. And just start smashing this tree, like, into the car, and there's branches going everywhere, and, like, leaves and shit. And we finally, like, get back to the house. We drive all the way back to the house like that. This fucking Charlie Brown tree is just spread all the way through the car. And it was, like, a small car, too, like a Corsica or something like that. So we get back to the house, and mind you, like I said, this is, like, winter time. And we get up to the front door, and I don't have my key. Or, yeah, like, Blake doesn't have his keys, and I go to feel for mine. I'm like, oh, fuck. I was like, my key's gone, my house key. I can't find it. Like, where the fuck could that be? And so then, as we're trying to, like, walk all the way around the house to get inside, Blake is, like, kicking the door open, you know, trying to have drunk might to just police kick this door open. And then, eventually, Blake's like, oh, dude, he's like, I got it right here. And I look at him, and he's holding his elbow right by the window. And then I was like, dude, don't. And then he just smacks his hand, and it crashes the fucking window. I was like, you asshole. Like, it's wintertime. Why would you do that? And on top of that, we had plastic on the inside of the house covering all the windows. So we're like, dude, this is fucked. Like, there's still plastic there. My one buddy's like, it's cool, I got it. And, like, rips open all of the plastic to get inside. I'm like, fuck. But at least I guess we're inside. You know, so then we get inside, and he's puking more. I think Blake and I are smashing pizza and having, like, another beer before bed. Well, like, I wake up in the morning, and I don't know, like 8, 9 or something like that, and I noticed that my buddy was gone off the couch. So I call him. I was like, yo, dude, I was like, when did you leave? I was like, did you stay here last night? He's like, yeah, but all, like, snow and cold air were blasting through the window, and it's like I left at, like, 6 a.m., So I'm like, do you still have that tree in your car? And he's like, nah, I threw that out. So also, side note, the Bunts house is across the street from a high school. So the high school has, like, parking spaces all the way down that, you know, people that go to school there, but on the weekends, people could park there as a public parking. So I'm, like, looking out the window, and I was like, oh, I don't see this tree anywhere. Like, maybe he threw it up down the road or somebody picked it up. So then we, like, so it's like, okay, I didn't think anything of it. Blake had already gone to work, so I'm just basically dicking around the house all day, like, doing nothing, just being shitty, like, watching TV, curing my hangover. And then I was like, you know what? I gotta go do something today. Like, I feel, like, very unproductive. I was like, so I'm gonna go put some regular clothes on and maybe go skating or whatever. And literally as I get up and I'm, like, standing in the dining room texting, out of the corner of my eye, I see 2 cops walking up the front porch. And I'm like, no fucking way could these cops be coming here for us. I was like, maybe they're going upstairs. Like, maybe, I don't know. Could be anything. Maybe someone's car got stolen and they found it. Like, I don't know. It could be anything, right? So
this is when, like, I noticed what was going on. Actually, I noticed the night before. Like, I was asleep, and it must have been like 3 o'clock or whatever, whatever time you guys got home. Mm-hmm. I was asleep, and I heard, like, the rustling, and I remember you going, no, don't do it. And I remember yelling, like,
yeah,
I got it, guys. I got it. I'll let you in through mine. You'll go up, through, around, and back down to your place, because I doubt your side door was open.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, I got it. I'm trying to, like, you know, get out of bed and get down there, because you guys are just, like, yelling, like, I thought you had the keys. And I'm laying there not asleep, you know. And I'm like, oh no, I know what this is all about. Then before you know it,
Oh man,
I just heard the window break. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to
I'm
bed.
sorry. So many times we probably woke
Oh
you
no,
guys up.
it was because I couldn't sleep that
Okay.
that happened, and it was hilarious that like I heard this whole thing. Like by the time I make it to the stairs to go down, I heard the glass break, and I just threw my hands in the air, and I was like, "Oh, that's it. You
Nope.
guys deal with it."
Too late now. They're already gonna make their way inside.
Yeah,
So
and but this is the other part. Like the next day, I remember looking out the window. I'm like, "Oh, what are there cops here for?" And yeah.
there was 2 cops. Yeah, and there was 2 cop cars that were parked across the street. So I was like, please don't knock on my door. Please don't knock on my door. And then they knock on my door. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Do I not answer? Maybe do I pretend I'm not here?
That's what I would have done.
Yeah, that's what I should have done. Because then, but I was like, I don't know. I'm like, what if something happened to someone in my family? You know, like that would be really shitty. And I'm hiding away when they're trying to tell me that something bad happened, you know? So I was like, all right, I'm just going to fucking man up. I was like, there's no fucking way that they're going to be able to place that we stole a tree out of some random yard.
Were you even thinking about the tree at the time?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You were?
Oh, yeah, that was the first thing that crossed my mind. I was like, there's no way they could trace a tree back to my house, right? So I open up the door, and I'm like,
you're like, this isn't your tree. Oh, yeah? How old was your tree?
Yeah.
Nope, I only see 13 rings.
So I open up the door, and and I was like, hey, how's it going? They're like, hey, we're looking for Antonio. And I was like, yeah, I'm him. And they're like, okay, like, can we come in for a second? And I was like, is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. We just want to come in and talk for a second. I was like, this is weird. But okay, yeah, fine, come on in. Thank God, like, it wasn't like trash. Like, we were out the night before, so there wasn't beer cans and pizza boxes everywhere. So I let the cops in, and they come in, and they're like, hey, do you know, like, really, like, do you recognize these keys? And I go, oh, yeah. I was like, I lost my keys last night, actually. I was like, how did you find those? And they're like, oh, well, there's a Drug Mart card on your keychain that we were able to go to Drug Mart, get your name, then we found your address and came here. And at the time, I was like, man, that's fucking genius. Nice. And then he goes, where did you lose your keys at? And I go, well, I don't know. We were out with a bunch of friends last night having some drinks. People were rustling around. It could have, fell. I might have, when I sat down in the chair, sometimes the ring falls off. It's like, oh, well, where were you guys drinking last night? So I start mentioning the bars we were at. And then he's like, okay. He's like, yeah. He's like, what do you know about a tree getting ripped out? And immediately, I could feel my stomach drop. But I'm trying to keep straight face, right? And I was like, tree? Who would rip a tree out in a world like this? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Who rips trees out, right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I have no idea. I was like, to be honest, I was like, there was 13 of us. There was actually 3. And I was like, we were waiting like in the runner for our ride. And once we got in, other people were wrestling each other. There was a bunch of guys, so I'm not really sure. I was waiting in the car for them. So like, well, did they rip it out? Were they wrestling? Did they knock it down? I was like, gee, officer, I don't know. He's like, okay. He's like, well, because the tree got ripped out actually right by the bars you were talking that you were at last night. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know.
It didn't even seem like that windy of a night.
Yeah, I was very comfortable in a light jacket. So then he's like, okay. He's like, well, the thing is, the guy. I mean, he's upset. It's gone. But if we return it, or give him money for it, then everything's cool. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I can text some friends and see if they have any idea about it. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And then he ends up taking my keys back from my hand. He's like, we need to take these for evidence also. I was like, that's fucked. That's my only house key, which I had to have Blake, make another copy for me.
You're like, luckily I'll just crawl in the window every day now.
Yeah, well, we needed to have that because Blake kicking in the door trying to open it fucked up the bottom knob. And the only way it wouldn't stay closed. The only way we can keep it closed is keeping the deadbolt, shut. So what we end up doing, so then I was like, okay, sorry for this incident, officers. I will talk to my friends and I'll try to get back to you. And they go, okay, that's fine. Now, second note, we're actually here. Also, we found out that you have a warrant for your arrest. And I'm like, fuck. Because I'm like, dude, I just talked my way out of these fucking trees. Now there's a warrant for my arrest. And I'm like, what's there a warrant for?
You were like, she said she was 14, officer. And they were like, that's still illegal, Tony. Get in the car.
And they're like, oh, yeah, like, I guess you have, like, unpaid court costs, from, like, going to court in, like, Elyria, I don't know, however long ago.
Yeah.
And so it was, like, I don't know, like, $150 or something like that. And I was like, so, like, yeah, we're just waiting to hear back, to see if you have to transfer you or not. And I was like, okay. And they're just kind of dicking around for a minute. And then they're like, okay, yeah, we have to take you in. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit, man. So I'm like, all right, let me go change into regular clothes. They start following me. I turn around, and they're like, sorry, like, this is just the part that people start to run. And I was like, I get it, but...
This is a part where you like to peep some ween.
Yeah. So I, like, changed into new clothes. I grabbed my phone and keys and all that shit. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. And they're like, oh, we have to handcuff you. And I was like, for what? And they're like, it's just part of procedure. And I was like, I didn't rob a liquor store. I owe like $100 in court costs. What's wrong with you?
I didn't rob a liquor store. I ripped a tree out of the ground. Yeah. Ah, nuts.
Guess you caught me. And then I turn and look into the camera and I have my hands up.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, that's Tony. Yeah. So they put me in handcuffs and walked me out of the house. So now I'm looking like a badass, like walking out of the house in handcuffs. And I almost felt like I should do like a... what's in like a McLovin where he's like, fuck you, police, fuck you, But, I mean, there's people that are all looking at me like the neighbors, like the creepy guy next door and whatever.
Like, I was like, oh, no, Tony, what's going on?
You were peeing off the side of the porch, and you're like, oh, shit, I gotta tuck this back in.
And they, I do remember, like, just waiting. I was like, oh, I hope everything's all right.
Yeah.
I'm texting you.
Dude, and then so, like, they put me in the back of one cop car. And they're like, okay, we're waiting for her to see where the transfer spot is. And ended up being, like, someplace over in, like, Westlake. And they're like, the one cop's like, oh, shit, there's a Taco Bell over there. And he's like, dude, I'm going to get, like, a Crunchwrap Supreme. I'm like, yo, can I get some Taco Bell before I transfer stations?
How about your buddy Tony?
Yeah. So then we have, like, switching over. And then the other cop was a fucking asshole going to the other station. And, which I did learn something, though, too. It always crossed my mind. And I always asked friends... that when you go to like a stoplight, okay, or a stop sign, I should say, and if it's going one way, going left, are you allowed to turn left on red?
You can turn onto a one-way street on red anytime, I think.
Right, yeah.
Unless there's
left.
a sign.
Yeah, but that was always like a huge debate between like me and other people. They're like, no, it only works if there's a sign or if you can only go right.
Unless I'm wrong, like you can always turn onto the one-way street on a red.
Yeah, I don't remember what his answer was. It never became useful.
You were trying to make small talk?
Yeah, I was trying to like play it cool. Like, hey, you know what? This guy's not so bad in the back seat. What's $100?
Yeah.
Just let me go. So no, they actually brought me back to the station, took pictures, and they told me like you can either take the shoelaces out of your shoes or take them off. Like I was gonna fucking hang myself with fucking my shoelaces for over like $100. So I just took the shoes off because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It sucks. Lacing up your shoes. That's not fun.
No.
It's a waste of time.
And you only thought you were going to be there for like, half hour.
Right. And it never feels the same either. Once you have the laces in, they're set. You take them all out, try to put them back in. It's not the same.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's not the same. Those creases have been pulled and tightened in that same crease, So I was like, okay, I made a phone call. I got my one phone call. I called to my mom and told her what's going on. And she's like, all right, we'll get somebody over there, like maybe your dad or whatever. I was like, okay. And I'm like just sitting there for like, 10, 15 minutes. I was like, man, this sucks. How long is this going to take? So then I ended up dozing off. And it was still daylight this time. I finally, I fell asleep. I woke up and I look outside. It's dark now. I'm like, what the fuck? So then eventually, my dad ended up showing up. Man, was he disappointed that I was in jail. But... never again. The lesson learned is do not ever have one of those little Drug Mart, CVS, Giant Eagle cards on your keychain.
Give them a fake name.
Yeah, because if you're going to pull a tree out, you're going to get caught.
And you're probably going to pull a tree out someday.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody does it at least once in their life.
That felt pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
When you finally got that tree out of the ground, you held it over your head.
Yeah.
But you didn't even tell the best part about the story.
What did I miss?
I was watching from the balcony up on the second floor where I live. And there's 2 cop cars. They put you in one.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And, like, they back out into, like, the school area and pull out, right?
Yeah.
And you're slow rolling, and I see your little puppy dog eyes in the back seat, and I'm like, oh, Tony, what happened?
Right.
And then the other cop, it was a husky gentleman, like, bend over and picked up this tree, and it was only, like, the size of, like, a normal tree branch. It was the size of this table we're sitting at. And he's like, he picked it up and, like, waved it at the other cop, and the other cop just kind of kept going.
Yeah, I remember looking over at him, and I see him pick it up, and he's like, hey, and I was like, oh, fuck.
This guy's going to rat me out.
There's the fucking tree. And then he's like, I was waiting for him to come over like the walkie-talkie. But he looks at it, and as you're saying, it's so small that it could pass as just a branch that fell off a tree.
Yeah.
So I assume that's just what he thought it was.
I didn't know that part until later on that day. It was like, like 6 or 7 o'clock. You finally make it back. You're telling me this. I'm like, oh, it's all about that stupid tree.
Right. That's an essential part of the story. I can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah, man. Bunts house.
Bunts house was the best.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
That was good.
All right.
Well, how are we looking here?
I'm going to call it a show.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good for episode 1.
Yep, we'll do it again same time and place next week.
Yeah, hopefully people can enjoy this and get some laughs at how dumb our stories are.
Yeah.
And then plan for episode 2.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, everybody, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
We'll be back next week.